you very much. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Such a large crowd, I've never seen the like of it before, so it's great to see it. And I think that our parish priest is here. We'd like to welcome. This is his first night at St Brigid Crossings as parish priest, so could you give him a little welcome there, please? Now we're going to start getting the rushes in, and I will say a little verse, and you will answer Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat. All clear on that? All right. Right, so we're all ready to go, and I think the children are outside waiting. So, Bogia were Luna, Bakri were Tula, because Ligisha Bridge. Panisha Bridge.
Well, Bart, what type of a rush is this? Is this a Gidor rush or a high street rush?
It's the airport road rush.
The airport road rush?
Yeah.
And what's so special about the airport road rush?
What's special about it is that I pulled the rushes myself, and they were pulled on the hillhead. And it's only the hillhead rushes that appear like this. And that's why it looks so nice, you know.
Well, somebody had told me that rushes don't grow on the hillhead, that the land is too good.
No, well, we have one wee spot, we call it the rush garden.
Right.
And we just grow them specially for St Brigid's night.
Oh, well, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Oh my God, they're all
But anyway, before we go around talking to people, Bart, there are lots of different types of St Brigid's crosses. Are there different types from different parts of the country? Different parts of the county?
If you go on the Glen, it's totally different.
I've seen the ones with the 3 stems.
That's a Glen one.
Right.
Paddy Bug invented that one in Glen Cormkill. Anyway, there's a great crowd here tonight, Kevin. Never saw such a big crowd.
Absolutely
here
fantastic crowd.
Yeah. And every one of them now are making rushes.
What was that? Could you translate that little verse that you said at the start?
Shabaha, Shabaha, Shabaha. Othclay were Thula, Gogia were Luna, it's like a sharp breeze. It means that you go down on your knees, you open your eyes, and you welcome in Bridge. That's what it's all about.
Right. And tomorrow...
And then the children come in then with all the rushes then, and everybody starts.
Now, there are some places I read where the rushes are blessed before they are made into crosses. And then there's other... where the priest can bless them, but there's others where you can bless them yourself. Which happens around here?
Well, here in the Parish Centre, the custom is now that once the crosses are all finished, later on, that the parish priest then will come and he will bless the crosses, the finished crosses then.
Right, but you have heard of where the rushes are blessed first.
Yeah, well, the old tradition was always that when the rushes would come into the house, that the father would take the rushes into the house and place them on the table, and the woman of the house then would sprinkle them with holy water then and bless them then before the cross making starts.
Very good.
And then before the night was out then, the lady of the house would get a cloth, usually a pillowcase she would get, and take it outside and hang it on the nearest bush that she can get and leave it there till morning. And when that comes in then, when the morning comes, she'll go out and collect it, and that is the most of special cures, especially that is anybody suffering from headaches.
Right, is that where they cut a little bit of the cloth and give it to somebody?
Each one member of the family can get a little piece of the cloth then.
Okay.
And it is said that you will never suffer from headaches if you keep a bit of the cloth in your pocket.
Very good.
Would I tell lies, Kevin?
I'm not going to answer that here. I might incriminate myself.
I think that could happen, all right. You're from St Brigid.
But Hughie would be the Ross's man. Yeah.
What would the tradition and the Rosses be? Have you any idea?
I would have no idea, maybe, and I don't know whether Hughie would know either. But I would imagine it's the same as this.
Did you have the tradition of making crosses in Sandfield when you were a young girl?
Yeah, we did. We made them. My father always went outside. He had absolutely no Irish, but he had enough Irish to do that and to say, you know, the verse coming in. Yeah. He used to go outside and he would say, "Go give the glúine, foscagli the soul, Yugoslavia St Brigid," and my mother would always answer it, "Shabaha, Shabaha, and Rausel." That's what she would say, and he would come. But he always made. We made the irregular crosses with the four edges on them, but he always made a triangular one, and he showed me how to do that before he died. The triangular one, and he said that was always one.
Are you going to make one of those tonight?
Make one of those. He said that was always put in the stable. You always put the triangular one in the stable.
The stable for the animals, to keep the animals safe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's as far as the tradition goes for me.
And would you have the tradition of having one in your car as well? That's in Brigid across the car.
But there used to be one put in every one of the outhouses, the byre, the barn, the hen house, everywhere.
Yeah.
There'll be a cross put everywhere, and there'll be obviously one in the house as well.
And what about Bratach Bridge?
No, we had no tradition around Bratach Bridge, but I think that's a more common thing in the Rosses, the Bratach Bridge. Yeah. I'm not too sure now, but we didn't have it, but I'm sure other families did have that. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Sean.
You're welcome.
And what's your name?
Annabelle O'Neill.
Annabelle O'Neill. And have you made St Brigid's crosses before?
I can't.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
And have you not been watching all the other people doing it?
No.
And are you from Ardara?
Kind of.
How can you be kind of from Ardara?
Well, I don't live in Ardara.
Where do you live?
I live in Lochers Point.
Oh, Lochers Point, away down there. They don't have any very good rushes down there. No. So that's all right. Thanks, Annabelle. Will you go away now and learn how to make the St Brigid's crosses?
I'll try.
Right, and before the evening's out, come back to me and tell me that you have made a St Brigid's cross. Okay? Thanks. And what's your name? Lorcan. And have you made a St Brigid's cross?
Yes.
Show it to the camera. That is really good, Lorcan. Did you make that all by yourself?
Well, Mommy helped me a wee bit.
Right. But have you made them before?
Yes.
Where did you get the rushes?
I'm getting to. I want to.
Do you have rushes around your house?
No, not really.
All right, so it's good land around your house. Right. And where do you live? Don't tell me Lochers Point, because they say the best land is in Lochers Point.
Ireland.
Huh?
I live in Ireland.
Ireland?
Yeah.
All right. So do I. What part of Ireland?
Ardara.
Ardara?
Yeah.
So do I. What part of Ardara?
Across the road from...
From here?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Oh, across the road from Parish, from Desmond. All right. You're out the Portnew Road. Right. That's very good. Show the cross again. That is so good. Very good. Well done. Hello, Father Ian.
Hello, Kevin. How are you doing?
Not so bad. We're here talking to people about the different methods of making crosses. There are some people here tonight from different areas of Donegal, and there are different ways of making crosses. The Rosses have a different, we were just talking to a lady, the Rosses have a different method, around Ardara is a different method. You're from Letterkenny originally.
That's right.
And I know the land is very good around there. You probably didn't have any rushes.
No, absolutely no rushes in Letterkenny. You must be joking.
I'd be very surprised if I fish telling lies.
Bart, don't be surprised at anything. But I definitely am going to win this €1,000 prize for the best Brigid's cross anyway.
Well, you know, Port of Kevin Dunleavy is sponsoring it.
Oh, I thought it was Bart Whelan was sponsoring it.
No, Kevin Dunleavy.
No.
Kevin Dunleavy.
Father Ian, I want to ask you another question.
Yeah.
I had heard Bart was saying that usually at the end of the night when all the crosses are made, that they're blessed by the priest. Right. But I've also heard of when the rushes come into the room, sometimes they're blessed first. That the rushes themselves are blessed first. Have you heard of that one?
No, but I know that, like what we did tonight, where Bart had the wee rhyme or prayer, Goigia were gluing Oscali were Thudags like a St Brigid Bani. That was always done in our house at home anyway. And I'd say you were asking about whether we had a tradition of a particular type of cross in Letterkenny. Because my late mother came from the Glenaglenties and my father was from Termon outside of Letterkenny, we didn't know that. We just thought there was just one type of cross that we made. And I suppose in family homes, it was the head of the house maybe, or the mother, who had actually blessed the crosses. I suppose here tonight, I know Father Lafferty or the Dean is going to bless the crosses when people have them made. And it's a lovely tradition. It's lovely to see so many people out tonight, youngsters, and the children are learning from the older members of the community. And it's just lovely, everybody together. They seem to be quite nourished with the lovely stew that Josephine prepared earlier, and the cup of tea, and everybody seems to be happy. There's
just one other thing, Father, now I'll ask you about is Bratog Bridge.
That's right.
You have that tradition.
We did, where they put out a rag on Bridget's nice Ihe Bridge, and the tradition was that Bridge herself would pass and bless the bit of the Bratog. And you'd cut it up into pieces and put it in different places. I see here Catherine Gillespie was making crosses for the stables. I think she's still making them for the stables, for the buyers, and that's where in the country people would put a cross bridge, a St Brigid's cross, in the byre above the door or somewhere to protect the animals.
That tradition was a big tradition in Ardara.
Was that right? A big tradition in Ardara.
Very good. Thanks very much, Father. Enjoy the evening.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to winning your sponsored prize.
Forget about that. Did you get any Irish stew? Because Bart had about 5 bowls of it.
Well,
so
I was told there was none left.
Well, there you go
Bart
now.
had got eaten.
There you go now.
Okay, thanks,
Bart
Kevin.
had 5 bowls.
Thanks, Bart.
Tony, would you turn around a wee bit? Right. Do as you're told. We're Tony Breston, now Cronkieran with us. And Tony, you're here every year for the making of the crosses. It's always been a big tradition, and Cronkieran.
Was. Every house had crosses, brought in the crosses and made them when we were young.
But they wouldn't gather from one house into another house, would they?
No, they're just the families themselves.
Every family themselves.
Every family themselves.
And would you make the traditional cross, the old 4?
Yeah.
The 4 legs on it.
Well, and then there was a few people who would make what's known as donkey crosses. Now, I never learned them.
What kind of crosses?
Donkey crosses.
Yeah.
I've heard of them, but they were for the sheds and the buyers.
Yeah.
Because the buyers was very important when we were young.
To keep the animals safe.
Correct.
And how many crosses would you have in the house?
Well, you would have. That time you would probably they would have one for every room and one for every buyer. Right. That'll be the minimum. So that's it.
Would you put one in the car?
Yes, you do a small one. In later years, we would always do a small one for the car.
Did I hear a story one time that you bought a car, a second-hand car, and there was a cross in it?
There was. It belonged to Cormac Quanna Glantis.
Oh, the Glen of Glenties?
No, Cormac Quanna. He had a shop on the side of the road there. He was very good to
you see, Tony, the thing is that's where they are from Balbafay. He wouldn't know Cormac Quanna.
When we were...
See, the land in Balbafay was too good. There were no rushes.
When we were young, we were very good to our mothers. Cormac would dress you.
That's right.
That is right. He was a very good, and his wife was she was from Ironmore Island, yeah. And there was a cross in the car. Yeah.
We just want to have a wee word with you about the tradition of making crosses, and that your mother was from away down the county, and your father was from Luskerahan down that country. What tradition had you in the house when you were young, making the crosses?
We used to always do them in Uncle Paddy's every year out in Edvigal. Paddy walked around the house the 3 times, and Sarah done the Irish on the inside.
We'd walk around the house 3 times.
Yeah. And all the wains with them. All the boy wains with them.
All the wains with them. Oh, very good. Oh, the boy wains.
The boy wains and the girls stayed in the house.
No place for girls.
No.
So things are going to change. I see you're making a very nice one there, Catherine. That's
This is the one that you made for stables or cow sheds.
it'll be a special one for the stables or cow sheds.
And why? I know it's a different shape. Why was that particular one used for the stables?
I don't know. That's what I was told.
Tradition.
Tradition.
But it's a very nice cross.
Well, you should have more rushes in it, but as you can see, they're very scarce.
Right.
There should be plenty of rushes now.
God, I thought Ardara always had great rushes.
Well, they used to have, but not this year.
They might have to go further afield next year.
Our land is too fertile. That's what's wrong.
Is that it? I thought with all the rain there would be plenty this year. But
Thank you very much.
Oh, we have a whole lot of nice girls here. What's your name?
Lucy,
Lucy.
Natalia, Shauna.
And did you make any crosses tonight?
No.
Oh well, listen. I'm not going to talk to you girls. You need to go away and learn how to make the
Well,
crosses.
I made only one.
You made one.
Yeah.
All right. Did somebody help you?
No.
You made it all by yourself. And where is it?
Small. I accidentally left it somewhere.
Anyway, that's very good. Are you enjoying tonight? Did you get some Irish stew?
No. No. We're gonna get some soon. Yeah, we're gonna get some now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. See you girls.
The tradition of making crosses still in your house, is it, Joseph?
It is very much so. My father has shown us all his life, and even the grandchildren today he was showing. So
He was showing them today, was he?
he was.
That's great. Great to keep the tradition.
I always done it. We always had it in our house from back in the bar in the old days when we were living in the town.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I wonder, do they do them out in Saudi Arabia and in Australia?
Grace is an expert at them. She was teaching the wee ones today too. So
We usually remember when you were young that
Oh,
your
very-
father and mother would always do that. And
yeah, always. It was always a tradition down through the years. We always took part in the whole thing.
And,
Be in the kitchen, be full of rushes.
And tell me, Brather Breeze, would your father and mother leave a rag outside then on St Brigid's night?
I can't remember the exact tradition, but there was a prayer at the door for somebody coming in, just like tonight there.
Yeah,
exactly the same, So something to that effect, but I don't remember the full tradition, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's been handed down from Eddie to Joe to the children again.
This is Evelyn here, she was doing one there.
Yeah, well, it's great to see it being kept up the tradition. And thanks very much, Joe.
No bother, Bart.
So, what's your name?
Owen Boyle.
And are you from Ardara?
Yeah.
Right. Have you made crosses before?
Yeah, a couple of times.
So, is this your cross here? Where's your cross?
It's on the windowsill there.
Oh, it's on the windowsill. Okay, well, we'll see that in a minute. And is that your first ever cross, or have you made some before?
I've made some before.
At home?
No, a couple last year down here and a couple of years ago.
Very good. Are you enjoying this evening?
Aye, it's good crack.
It's nice to see you guys making crosses because it helps to keep the tradition alive.
Aye, it is.
You'll do it next year again?
Aye, probably.
Good man. Thank you.
Marie, is the tradition always alive out in Carroworth where you came from?
Oh, very much so, yeah. In Garworth, yeah.
And would it go through the ritual of
We would, yeah.
and the rushes
Yeah.
at night?
My dad would get the russes and we'd all make our crosses.
And was there any special type of cross that you used to make? Or is it just the one that you're making now? Was that the usual type?
Just this one, I think, yeah. Just this one. There is another one too, but I can't remember now.
But it's lovely to see so many people keeping up the tradition of it,
Isn't
isn't
it?
it?
It's fantastic.
And would you put one in every room in the house?
No, not every room, I don't think. But I think they used to put one in the byre to check the animals, and maybe the shed, the barn, and in the house, yeah. And in later years, I used to send one to America to my sister. Yeah. Yeah.
Reid, we're up in your country now. Up in Aya, up that country.
God's country.
God's own country.
It'd be a great country for rushes, wasn't it?
Good country for rushes.
But they're bad land, isn't
There's not too many parishes on the Gulf. It's not good country for rushes.
Did you have the tradition of going through the ritual on St Brigid's night?
Definitely, it would have to be done right. There was no shortcuts. You had to say every word.
Would your father walk around the house? Some person told us there that the head of the house would walk around the house three times and then come in there and be welcomed and then by the people in the house.
Oh no, it was a lady that went out. Somebody with the name Brigid would go out. Preferably a Brigid would go out and take in the crosses. The rushes, yeah.
Men had no say in that house, you know.
No.
Not funny, Kevin.
Oh God, they still don't have much of a say about you.
I don't know, I'm not living there anymore.
So was there any kind of a special sort of a cross that you would make apart from the usual one?
This one?
That's a nice cross. They're a lovely centre on that.
That's a different one.
You have a bit of practice on the breeze?
Oh, I do them every year, that was, yeah.
Well, she's just going around with the one rush all the time.
Yeah. Save rushes.
A wee bit here,
you save rushes here.
Right.
You don't need a big bundle.
Very unusual, yeah.
So now, what was the tradition, Breeze, can you remember, of blessing the crosses or blessing the rushes in your house?
Well, and that's just with holy water, I would say.
Just when the rushes will come in?
They'll be done, yeah, when all the crosses will be made. They'll be blessed with holy water, yeah, that's about it, yeah. But we don't go to the priest to get them blessed.
You bless them yourself?
Bless them yourselves, yeah.
What's your name?
Cian.
Cian what?
Cian Haken Gallagher.
And are you from Ardara? And have you made St Brigid's crosses before?
I don't have experience with them.
But are you learning tonight?
Yeah, sort of.
Right, let's see what you've made. Oh, look at that.
We're kind of stuck at the second part,
You're kind of stuck. Cian, whenever you're able to make a St Brigid's cross, will you come back? Right, come back to me and I'll talk to you then.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a bit of quiet, please? We're going to have a little bit of music now from a young lad here to play a couple of tunes on the fiddle. He would be a grandson of John McGrath out the wood, or a great grandson of old Patrick McGrath that had the shop there with Patrick in the shop now. And he's going to play a couple of tunes for you. And he's only a young fella. Quiet, please! Bridget, was there always a tradition of cross making in your home when you were young?
Yes, there was. Yeah.
Where was that?
In Carrick. Straight in Carrick.
In Carrick?
Yeah.
And Streleel.
Yeah.
And you were in the Dominics?
Yeah.
Aye. I remember your brother, Fonse.
That's right.
Aye.
Yeah.
So, had you any particular tradition or a particular way of making it, or just was the usual one that you have there?
Oh, the usual one. That's the usual one. Yeah. No other, and at least one particular, wasn't it?
And did you carry on the tradition yourself in your own house with your family?
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah.
And you'll be handing it down to your grandchildren now.
Yes. They're all doing it now.
Who's this wee one here? Who?
Natalie.
Huh? Natalie, do you remember any cross making when you were young?
Gosh, yeah. Well, my nanny would always do it at home. And then I remember in national school as well, we had different ones. Actually, the Herons in Glenconwell, when I was young, were the best cross makers around.
Is that right?
Amazing. Really
Yeah.
different styles and
Yeah.
really big ones. But they had wow crosses. But Nanny was saying today, she was in Shanahan House and she had to bring in the rushes. And she remembers saying it at school when she was 10 as well in Irish.
Yeah. Well, that was nice. But this fella here, that's along with us, Kevin Dunleavy. He's a blowing and he wouldn't know any tradition because there's no rushes down where he came from, you know. The land was too good for them.
Don't believe one word of that.
Will one of these crosses be going in the byre?
I don't think so.
No?
These are the 3-pronged is for the buyer, the 4-pronged is for the
Oh, the
house.
3-prong one, yeah.
That's to protect the cows, that's to protect the house from fire.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much now. Thank you.
Thank you. We want a wee word about, do you, about rush and cross making. I was just telling Bart that you being from Stranraer, the land is so good down there weren't that many rushes. You had to go further, you had to come to Ballymafay for the rushes.
Oh yeah, no. We got them.
I think you'd be more of a Glenfin man maybe, rather than that.
What do you want to know?
Huh?
No, well there was one thing I had heard that in some places when the rushes are taken into the room, they're blessed then, and then in other places they're blessed after they're made. Is that?
Well, it all depends because you see, once they're blessed, you have to dispose of them properly. See, if they're blessed, you just can't dump them.
Yeah.
You would have to dispose of them, like burn them or something like that.
Right. So,
rather than.
Had you heard about that tradition of blessing the rushes first?
Well, generally speaking, the tradition that we had was that people blessed the crosses themselves on the feast of the Purificationist, Candlemas.
Okay.
There was no official blessing like what happens now. You know.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that would everybody blessed them and themselves, but they didn't bless them on the feast of St Brigid. They blessed them on Candlemas Day. That was the day they were blessed.
Yeah.
That was the tradition with us anyway.
I just noticed here there are so many different types of crosses. Was that the same everywhere where you've been in Glenfin and back at home?
There was different kinds of people. That was the ordinary one there. That was the ordinary one of them. But then some people made triangular ones as well. The other were the ones that they're making there, the handiest to make, basically. It was not everybody could make the other ones.
Right.
About Bridget, Shannon.
I don't know very much about it, Ardara Parush.
It wouldn't have been a tradition down in Stranraer, would it?
No. In fact, in the matters about Stranraer and Ballymafay, there wasn't much a tradition of making crosses anyway at all.
Well, there was. My mother came from the Glenaglenties and she would have had the tradition.
She would have had it, yeah. But it wasn't something that would have. You had nothing like this.
No, never was had anything like this. Yes.
No.
It was just in our house.
Right, exactly, yeah. In some houses, we always had it in our house as well. Probably for the same reason, because my mother's people all came from Glenfin, you see.
Right.
And I'll tell you something, Dean, that this building here, the Parish Centre, will keep it alive for many, many years to come. When you see a crowd like that here tonight,
surely.
And there's a great venture, so it was.
Yeah.
And
when
you deserve a wee bit of credit for that, you know.
Talking about building it, they said it was good daft.
That's right.
And now it's the best thing ever happened.
Oh, the best thing ever happened is right. Yeah.
You're probably looking around tonight and saying it's because it wasn't a wee bit bigger.
Not big enough.
It's big enough.
Yeah, big enough.
Thank you very much, Dean.
There's another story upstairs, you see.
I've never been up there. Another open room like this.
The one upstairs is for the big shots.
Right. You have to have letters at your name to get up there.
Thank you very much, Dean.
Or be holy. And some of you can fail in both counts.
Thanks very much, Steve. We'll go no further with that one. And what's your name?
Lara McCready. Lara McCready.
And I think I know your granddad, is it?
Yes.
All right. And he never tells lies.
Never.
Right. Tell me anyway, you've made a cross tonight.
Yes.
Show it to me.
These two?
Those two. And is that the first time you ever made a cross?
No.
But do you make them every year?
Yeah, basically.
And have you made them at home?
Over lockdown I have, yeah.
Okay. So they're different. This has got a triangular shape, and this one's a normal, what I would call a normal cross. Why did you make the two different ones? Just to
show my artistic skills in different forms.
There you go. Well, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
I must say they're very good. Are you going to make a few more before the night's out?
Yeah.
And maybe you show somebody else how to make them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that was the best cross. And the winner was a fellow called Bart.